Now, Blood Bikes East are a volunteer organisation that transport blood samples, medical equipment, medication and emergency breast milk between hospitals and laboratories free of charge 365 days a year. Now, we're joined this morning by Brendan Conroy, who's the chairman of the Blood Bikes East, blood biker Maura Donoghue and Debbie Byrne, who receives ongoing assistance from Blood Bikes East. You're all very welcome this morning. Brendan, let's start with you, because I was just saying before we came on air there that I knew there was bikes and this type of transport between hospitals, but I assumed the HSE or the hospitals were paying for it. I never knew there was a voluntary organisation like yourselves. It's incredible.
The hospitals do pay for transportation, but they pay for it. So they would have to hire a courier firm or transport material by taxi. That costs money.
Yes.
And each hospital gets a budget from the HSE annually. They have to make that last as best they can. What we do is we reduce the cost of one subhead of their budget, transport, and we make sure that they give them the latitude, the freedom, then to repurpose that money into other direct patient care. Okay. So if we take up the slack and provide a service free of charge, it means that the budget that they have set aside can be reduced and repurposed for direct patient care.
And gone back into the hospital in other areas.
To the patient.
To the patient, to the patient. How many of you are there?
There's 90 in Blood Bikes East, and there are 7 other registered blood bike groups throughout Ireland. So we're lucky that we have a brilliant working relationship between Blood Bikes in Cork, Limerick, Galway, Donegal, Cavan and Monaghan. And between all of these groups, we have created a nationwide network of transportation for hospitals.
So you yourselves on the East, you have 6 bikes and a car, is it?
Yes.
I see you're in your biker leathers here and everything. So is it people who are biking enthusiasts, really?
As I say, we're a group of bikers with a passion for motorcycling, but we put a purpose to that passion by providing a free medical transport service.
And how long have you been doing it?
I joined Blood Bike East in March 2015, and I've been doing it ever since.
And was there a reason why you decided to join it?
I've been in and out of hospital as a child. I'm partially deaf, and because of that, I have always had an interest in giving back to a community. And when I took up motorcycling only in 2007, I decided this was a perfect way, because Blood Bikes came into existence then in 2013. And the first year we did 320 calls. 2017 we have done 3,367 calls.
Wow.
And in this, up to today, we have done 1,374 calls.
This year already?
This year, 2018.
Wow. And it's only at the beginning of May? It's
only the beginning of May. But, you know, we have developed as an organisation. We have close contact with our hospitals. We are a registered charity. We are registered with the company's registration office as a charitable company. And those two things are very, very important in today's charity sector. You have to have oversight. And I think what we have done as an organisation is shown to the hospitals we're properly managed, we're properly governed, and we can do the job. Yeah. Most hospitals, whilst they appreciate the saving, they always say the same thing to us. You turn up. You turn up when we call you, when we need you.
You
and
have to be
when
there.
You have a group of 90 people who are willing to get out of bed, as Maura did this morning at 5 o'clock.
Maura, were you on a call this morning?
I was, yes.
So you weren't expecting that, you just got the call this morning, 5 o'clock. Where did you have to go?
I had to go for a pick-up in the Mater Hospital and deliver to the laboratory in St James's.
All right. So, and that's the type of thing, you just get a call like that.
It is.
How did you get involved? Because you were saying, Brendan, like you were in hospital, and lots of the people who were involved have stories themselves, backstories on this.
I was like Brendan, I was late starting biking. I only started about 6 years ago. And I would have done a lot of charity runs, and it's a great community of bikers when you go to the charity runs and see the good that's out there. And then a close family member was in a nursing home. And I used to see the blood bikes coming in now, collecting the samples from the nursing home. And it was something I thought about, and my partner's a biker as well, so Mark thought about it as well. And I met one of the blood bikers on a bridge one day waiting for a sample from Blood Bike West. And he spoke to me and he said, you should come along and join up. So I was very impressed with the fact I was new and a woman didn't put him off. That really impressed me. And then we saw it on Facebook, on the Blood Bikes East Facebook page, and the two of us signed up and started from there.
And how long have you been doing it now?
Just about a year and a half
A year
for
and a
myself. I did controller first because I wasn't overly familiar with the north side, south side thing. I'm from Kildare originally, so I got a lot of slagging about that. So by doing controller...
So this is when the hospital phones you
yeah.
and then you try and find out who's free, who's available, who can go now.
Yes. There's a roster and the riders are rostered on every night, and you would have a north side shift, a south side shift and country. And the controller takes the call from the hospital and they send whoever is in the area to the hospital. So I was aware then of what hospitals are busy and the kind of patterns that emerge before I started riding myself.
And Debbie, you avail of this service. So tell us your story. Tell us about James.
Yeah, James was diagnosed the 14th of April last year with leukemia. And at the time, you know, we had just had a new baby, Oscar, so he was 2 weeks old. So altogether, we've 4 boys. And with having a newborn baby as well, it was a crazy time and obviously a very distressing time as well. So we would initially have spent a bit of time in hospital, and then the hospital will train you in, if you want, to be able to draw bloods at home. Now, what that means is you still travel up to hospital, you know, a couple of days a week for treatment, for chemotherapy, but you also have the option...
But you don't have to travel up to get the bloods done.
Exactly. You can actually, once you get trained in the hospital, you can draw them at home yourself and drop them up. So
and
at
blood
first,
bikes come and collect that, bring it to the hospital, they'll screen it that day and tell you, because sometimes I know from experience the cells might be down, you don't have to go the next day or you do. So it's saving you bringing, especially during the summer, 4 children into a car
newborn
to go up
baby,
to get a
4
blood
children.
done, to go home, to come up the next day for chemo.
Exactly. And then a lot of the time James would have been in the previous day for chemo. So the day that we would do bloods or the next day after, he'd be very, very sick. He'd be very lethargic. You know, he'd be lying on the couch. Sometimes he wouldn't be able to lift his head. And after a very bad month in June, where he spent the month in hospital, it just, you know, he was sick of the hospital. His brothers, you know, the difference of hauling them all in the car. To letting them go outside and play and keeping James at home and just letting him rest. It's been invaluable.
So this is an amazing service for you.
Like, we're indebted to Blood Bikes. They really, even, you know, now when James isn't as reliant on the wheelchair, it just means that each week Blood Bikes will come 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll have been up from, you know, 6:45 doing bloods. And Blood Bikes come, you have a little chat, thank them because it's amazing what they do. They will go off and bring the bloods in morning traffic. So the fact that they're on the bikes as well.
And this is why the bikes come in, isn't it? Because you can get there quicker.
This is the beauty of motorcycling, that you can, as they say, make progress, you know, safely. And I have to say, a lot of motorists will be watching their rear view mirrors, be watching their wing mirrors, and they will give way to us. They will let us pass, which is, you know, very decent. The thing about a motorbike is that it's a much smaller vehicle, so it can go through the traffic much more easily and much more safely. Not fast. You don't have to go fast on a motorbike. You just
but you're not stuck in this mile-long traffic jam. You can
make
manoeuvre your way around. But you do have a car as well. There's one.
Ainsley Williams have been fantastic for us. That they, back in 2015, they decided to give us a brand new Skoda Yeti. So Ainsley Williams, along with Skoda Ireland, have given us a car brand new every year, which means that when it's icy or when it's snowing, we can still provide the service. During Storm Emma, we were still be able to provide the service to a number of the hospitals where we were able to transport material to the laboratories.
And Debbie, how is James now?
He's doing well. He's in school today, and it's great. We would have done bloods yesterday, and off he went to school. We all had breakfast as a family while Blood Bikes were there dropping the bloods up to Crumlin.
And tell me then, like, Maura, if people want to get involved and if they're looking at this morning and they are a bike enthusiast or somebody who can drive, basically, how can they get involved with you?
We're always
because you're totally around the country.
Absolutely.
It's not just Bikes East.
Not Blood Bikes East.
Blood Bikes East are always looking for volunteers, whether you're a biker or a non-biker, because we have lots of other roles apart from volunteer
Of course,
riders.
like you said.
We have a fantastic social media team who are always looking for help, if anybody could help out with that. And also the controllers is a very important
Yes,
job.
that's a very important job,
And
yeah.
we could do with more controllers too, because the more controllers we have, the better.
And how
because
do
it
people
spreads
get
it
in
out.
touch with you?
Well, we have a website,
Right.
bloodbikeseast.ie, and we also have a great Facebook page. You can contact us through that as well.
Okay, well, listen, as I said, I didn't know about it until yesterday. You do fantastic work, and wish you all the best. Thank you very much for
Thank you
coming
very
in.
much.